All right, hey guys, we just got the Pint S, and we figured we'd make a video talking about like the pros of this thing and like how it differs from like other Onewheels we have.
We have the Pint with us.
Yeah, we've got the Pint here today. Yeah, no, it's a pretty sick board, so let's get into it. All right, yeah, so here it is next to the Pint. As you can see, it's a little bit longer. Like they start at the same spot, but the Pint S goes a lot bigger. They're technically around the same size, but the Pint S just has these flared foot pads that just completely flare up like this. Just have a lot more room. All right, so one of the most noticeable things is, this one's got that beautiful like treaded tire, where as usual Pints are just flat like that. Normal treaded is a lot more rugged and has a lot more outer parts, but this, they keep it flat still. So it's kind of a perfect mixture between off-roading and riding on streets. And when you ride it, you can tell that it's a treaded tire because you can feel it, but it doesn't feel nearly as bumpy as an actual treaded tire. All right, so this thing, it feels like so much more powerful than like a normal Pint, or like even like how the Pint X was, because this thing has a lot more strength to it. It's got a lot more torque. So just doing like simple things like going up certain hills or on certain bumps, it's just got a lot more power. Even like if I do a curb nudge right here, it just goes right up the curb so easily. And I feel like it feels a lot stronger than the Pint X used to feel. Now, everything that's better about this board that's like faster or stronger is actually just a software upgrade. So in reality, it really is just the same as a Pint X, but with better software. And they went ahead and also upgraded the Pint X. So if you have a Pint X, you're also gonna get those upgrades. So you're also gonna now go 20 miles per hour, and you're also gonna have better torque. But the thing that makes the Pint S is, the stuff like the foot pads and the tire. So everything that makes the Pint S so much better is that it just comes with all these nice accessories. So it's super cool.
So I haven't ridden it that much, but I can already tell that it's much smoother than a Pint or Pint X, mainly because of the tire and like how the tire just absorbs all the bumps and all the off-road. And the flared foot pads, they give you a lot more space than a Pint or Pint X, and it feels really good. It's a treaded tire, but it's still very carvable. It still feels exactly like a Pint or Pint X.
Yeah, so one thing we touched on is the Pint series finally gets custom shaping, because like XRs have custom shaping and like GTs and GTS series, but we haven't ever had that on Pint. But finally, with the release of the Pint S, we can now like mess around with settings and like bring up the carvability or how tight the turning is, or even like how aggressive or powerful your board is. And it's really nice. Now, you can do that on the Pint X and the Pint S because, they're the same platform, and, all the software they gave to the Pint S, they gave to the Pint X. So Pint X and Pint S, you have custom shaping now. The Pint, still, we don't have anything for that yet. Hopefully sometime in the future. But yeah, so the custom shaping's super cool. Like you can even lower the nose now, which is super weird. So not only can you make it like higher, but you can also like make the nose like one level lower. So I put it on power. It's just a mode that I made where I lifted the nose like a bunch. So as you can see, it's a lot higher in the front than it usually is. And I also made the turning as tight as you possibly can, which means you can do crazy stuff like that. All right, so I just lowered the nose. I put it on another custom setting that I made. As you can see, the nose is a lot lower. But I also it's basically the opposite of what I had before. So now the turning is all the way as carvy as possible. So it's super smooth and wavy, and I also completely turned down the aggressiveness. So it's definitely a lot harder to do things like this. Yeah, so these foot pads like really make a difference. Like you can tell, you feel like you're really just secure on something, because going from Pint and Pint X, it's a very small like surface, and I feel like my shoes are always hanging off. But these things make it 15% bigger, and it just feels like you're so stable on this thing. Like, I don't know, they're so big, and I have so much space now, and it just really helps the overall ride. All right, yeah, so that's the Pint S for you guys. It's a really gnarly board. You know, it feels great. It it's got a lot more power. It's apparently got more torque than an XR, which is unbelievable for being part of the Pint series. But yeah, no, definitely a huge improvement. It is pretty much the exact same as a Pint X. So if you've got a Pint X, there's really no point in upgrading. And if you want a Pint S, just get a treaded tire. Yeah, no, other than that, it's pretty awesome. So we'll see you guys in the next one.